Hello, hello. It is Wednesday. Happy noon, happy afternoon, morning, however you're watching this. Welcome. Today we're talking about breath work, so it's going to be very exciting. My name is Melanie Richmond. I am your executive well-being coach, where we help driven professionals get to their next level life and career goals by optimizing their well-being. So today we are talking about the breath. And it's such a simple concept. It's what's keeping us alive, but it's also what, especially in our society, we're on the go, go, go. We're going from one thing to the next that we often don't think about our breath. So we're doing it in the background. And with life's stressors, sometimes our breath can become very shallow or fast, and it affects not only us on the physical level, but also on the mental, emotional side. So today we're going to dive deep into how we can improve your focus and help you be more present, help you feel better, and different techniques. We're actually going to practice different breathwork techniques. So you're going to want to hang on. I see we have some viewers coming on live, so please grant StreamYard permission to view your comments. And I love to have an interactive session today. So say hello in the comments if you're watching live. Love to know who you are, where you're from. And if you're watching this as a replay, let me know so that I know that you're interested in this topic by putting hashtag replay in the comments. Okay, so breath work. What does breath work even mean? People talk about it, seems to be like all over, the next TED Talk, or there's books about breathing. So many people are going towards meditation or yoga to help clear their mind a little bit. So what's breath work? Breath work on a simple level is intentional breathing. So instead of you just going throughout your day from when you came into this earth and took your first breath, all of it was without bringing consciousness to it. It was something that your body automatically did to keep you alive. And without the breath, there is no life. So we need that space, that energy, that prana to flow through our body to keep us alive. And intentional breathing comes in where you're actually bringing in the techniques to take you from whatever that breath is currently. So if you took a second to sit down today, maybe close your eyes because it's easier to check inwards. Say, okay, how's my breath? Am I breathing in my chest? Is my breath pretty fast? Is it slow? Do I feel constricted anywhere, maybe in the throat? Is it easy to breathe? Does it feel like I have constriction anywhere? Or does it feel really loose and I can flow in and out very easily? So those are all check-in questions that you can ask yourself, because that's the first step of bringing awareness to your breath is, what's my current state? And that current state that you've just checked in and you're like, wow, I have some restriction there. That's happening throughout the entire day. So the entire day, it's like you have a car and you have gasoline in the tank, but instead of using the gas that you need to move forward through, like drive forward to wherever you need to go throughout the day, you're only getting a certain amount of gas coming in at once, and it might be constricted and limiting. So you're not going to be able to drive as fast. It's not going to be as reliable for you to get to your destination. So same thing with the breath. If our life force that's driving us in life is limited, constricted, really shallow, we're not giving us the energy to project forward and go after what we want. So breathing is honestly the foundation behind everything that is going to bring you success and feel better in life. So learning the techniques behind breath work can seem a little woo-woo or, very yoga, but it's really important for you to know those techniques so that you can check in with yourself, work on the techniques, and then notice the after effect after. So we're actually going to go through this today and see what happens. Okay, so let's start off with a couple breathing exercises before I tie back into some other benefits behind breath work. So let's say you're a total beginner, which is totally fine. You've never done any breath work, breathing exercises, intentional breathing before. I'm sure at some point in your life, somebody was like, hey, take a deep breath. You know, like you had something really hard happen to you, somebody you lost that you love, or you just ran a big race and you like can't breathe, you're like suffocating, or you heard some news that's devastating. Oftentimes the first thing that goes is we constrict and we're not breathing, or we're doing a really hard exercise and we're not breathing because we're like our body's all in tension. So the simplest thing you can do is take a deep breath. So for anybody that's a beginner, at any point throughout the day, if you're like, holy, I'm feeling, sluggish, or I'm feeling the stress of the day, honestly, just take a moment. Nobody has to even know you're doing it. Take a moment, close your eyes. A simple breath can help change your state of being so quickly. So don't worry about all the fancy techniques that you can do. That's the simplest way that you can check back in. You kind of reset yourself and your breath to move forward throughout the day, and it should help with the release. Another one is if you have a little bit more time, instead of one breath, try making that 5 breaths. So you're going to go inhale, exhale 5 times. And you're going to be intentional about your breath and trying to keep them deep and low. Because if you look at animals that have like really high breathing, they're really shallow breaths and they're very fast. Whereas if you breathe deeper, it's going to make a bigger breath, like a bigger balloon. So try and get to your belly and then exhale out. So 5 deep breaths, that's for beginners, simple and easy. We can all do that. Let's say you have a racing mind. And all of us experience that at some point, especially when we have this deliverable over there. We have somebody that wants to be on the phone with us on the other side. And we might just be thinking about this other thing at home that's happening, or what's happening next week before my vacation. And it just feels like you have a lot on your mind right now. And I did a live show about being mindful. And if you have a mind that's full, how to reorganize it. So this racing mind, another simple technique you can use is lengthen each exhale. So studies have shown that having an inhale and then a longer exhale can really help with clearing the mind, calming the body. So let's try that together. So we're going to inhale for 4 counts, and then we're going to exhale for 6. So inhale, exhale, 4, 5, 6. Do that again. Exhale. How does that feel? So even for me, doing those 2 breaths where I extended my exhale longer than my inhale, I was intentional with my breathing, it's like everything in my mind kind of just totally cleared out. It was amazing. And if you don't believe me, if you're like, what is she talking about? How did that happen in 2 breaths? Try it. It's amazing what intentional breathing can do for your mind, your body, and your soul. All right, so that's number 2, is extend your exhales. Number 3, let's say you're anxious, and I know a lot of people that are suffering from anxiety. And there's lots of reason for that. We're living in a world that is so fast. We have really big responsibility demands of life. And there's so many distractions. There's so many things about what's happening in the future and the next best thing. And then there's FOMO out there. So people can get anxious about what's coming. And unless you have techniques to manage it, it can be really tough. And a lot of people are on medication for it. So if you're on medication or if you just deal with normal anxiety, I shouldn't say normal, I should say like non-medicated anxiety. Another really good way is to do belly breathing. So when we checked in earlier about how our breath is doing, where were you breathing from? Where were you expanding within your body? Belly breath is really bringing it down to the belly. And what that does is your diaphragm, which you guys can all see my growing belly. There's a human in there. It's going to be right below your rib cage here. So that is where your diaphragm sits, kind of mid-level. So below there, if you're bringing your breath into your low belly, you're going to be moving that diaphragm. And it's also going to help get you from your fight, flight, freeze mode into your rest, restore, relaxation mode. So your parasympathetic nervous system. Your parasympathetic nervous system is where you really get to relax and unwind instead of being on that high alert all the time. So where you have a lot of cortisol in your body. So if you're anxious, oftentimes you're going to be on high alert. You're going to feel like you're looking for like, oh, where's the next thing coming at me? Whereas if you can start doing belly breaths, which we're going to try, because today is all about trying, nothing wrong with that. I'm doing it here live with you. So hopefully at home you feel comfortable closing your eyes and testing it out, because that's the best thing you can do. So number 3 is belly breath. So take a nice comfortable seat, put your hands on your belly because it's a nice reference point. Close the eyes, and I want you to expand your belly like it's a big balloon, and you want to expand it in all directions. So not just the front or the back, but also the side body. And then do that 3 times. That was nice. Great job, everyone. So that belly breathing hopefully can help you calm and feel more secure, because it's also bringing you back to your base, back to your security. Amazing. So number 4, we're already on the 4th technique that you can use. This is one that, let's say you are losing focus. You're like trying to work and you're like, hey, I can't focus on anything right now. And the thing I like to tell people is, at any point throughout your workday, if you're struggling energetically to do a certain task, don't push through it. Like, as much as you're like, oh, I just got to push through and get it done, you might spend 4 or 5 times the amount of time that you actually needed to complete the task. Instead of just stepping away, let's say you say, hey, I'm not in the state of mind to write this proposal or to look at this Excel sheet. One thing you can do is, does it need to be done right away? If yes, you're like, okay, I should just probably sit down and push through. But maybe that's not the right response. Maybe the best response is, okay, I'm not going to look at it for the next 15 minutes. And I'm going to go grab myself a nice coffee somewhere. And then I'm going to come back to that task with a clear state of mind to do it within an hour. And I'm giving myself an hour time frame to do the task. My phone's going to be off to the side. I'm not going to have any distractions. My phone's going to be off. My Teams or your Skype or whatever you're using for Messenger is going to be turned off. And I'm just going to focus on this task. So you are creating the environment for your success. For you to pull through the task, you have a start date of like when you're starting that task, how you're going to complete it without distractions, and when you're going to finish by. So it's really clear when you enter that state that, hey, this is going to happen. So that strategy is amazing. And maybe that will be a different live show that we can talk about those strategies. But the other one is, let's say you did, okay, I'm going to take that 15 minutes and instead of grabbing coffee, I'm going to do box breathing. I'm going to jump into an empty boardroom, or I'm going to go outside, find a bench, and get some nice sunshine. And I'm going to do box breathing. And it's exactly like it sounds. So you're going to inhale, let's say for 4 counts to start off. And then you're going to pause at the top for 4 counts. And then you're going to drop down. You're going to exhale 4 counts. And then you're going to be empty for 4 counts. So that's the box. Inhale 4, pause, exhale 4, pause for 4. And you can change, like let's say 4 feels like too much, maybe 3. And for some of us that have never done breath retention before, it might feel uncomfortable at the top or at the bottom where you're empty or fully full, to be holding that breath or staying empty. And if that's the case, you can also reduce that length and work on making it the same count as the other ones. Okay, so let's try it together. So take a nice deep inhale. Exhale to sigh. So inhale for 4. Pause at the top. Exhale for 4. Empty for 4. Do that 2 more times. Pause. Exhale. Inhale for 4. Pause. Exhale for 4. And pause. Let that go. So I even noticed that there was a bit of hesitation for me to be empty right now. So I am creating life. I'm pregnant, and I'm in that pregnant stage of the box count where I'm full at the top. So for me, being empty felt a little aggravating. And there's different reasons for that. For you, you might be pregnant as well, or you might just be having a hard time with it. So box breathing is great for focus because it gives you something to draw out. It gives you something to draw your attention to, count, so that then you can't be elsewhere. You can't be thinking about your spreadsheet or something else, what you have to do this evening. So try it out. Next time you need to do a task, don't feel like it, try box breathing. That was number 4. All right, last one is number 5, which is if you're dealing with overwhelm. So I know a lot of us feel like we're holding on to a lot of different things. We have to juggle so many things in life and in work. So this is probably the most complicated breath that we're going to do, but it's such a good one for if you're feeling overwhelmed or if you're struggling with sleep. I love to use this technique if you're struggling with sleep. So it's called alternate nostril breathing. So basically what happens is you're going to breathe through one side of the nose, and then you're going to exhale on the other side of the nose. And then you're going to inhale again on that same side, exhale on the other. And what that does, it's amazing in the body. So you're actually you can do it without pushing on your nose, but it's easier if you can do it with your fingers. So don't mind me touching my nose. I'm not picking any boogers. All right, so we'll start off on the left side. So you're going to inhale on the left, and then you're going to use your fingers to plug the left nostril, and then you're exhaling through the right. Inhaling through the right, Exhale through the left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Do that 2 more times on your own count. Beautiful. So already just from doing that 3-4 times, I feel a lot more centered. There's something about going from one extremity to the other and then bringing it back that can bring you so much more balance in your state of being. So I hope those exercises were helpful. I'll just summarize them again. So you're a beginner, do 5 deep breaths. So simple. Number 2, you have a racing mind, lengthen each exhale. So you're inhaling and then you're extending your exhale. Number 3, if you're feeling anxious, get that breath in the lower body. Number 4, you do not have focus, do your box breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4 on each side. Good. Last one, number 5, you're feeling overwhelmed, you can't sleep, do that alternate nostril breathing using your thumb and your ring finger on the other side. Okay, so I'd love to know in the comments how it went. Let me know if there was one in particular that you really liked or disliked, or if there was any insight that came out from doing the breath work. And obviously you wouldn't do it as short as we did it today. I would say you would want to aim to do it for about a minute for the technique that you're doing. So let's say you're doing box breathing, and then you're going to see a little bit more results. And in yoga and in the pranayama, so that pranayama is intentional breathing. That's what it means. In that type of yoga that I practice, sometimes we do breath work for an hour. And I've had times where I'm doing breath work and I'm crying because the breath can be so releasing and sometimes it's so constricting in the body. And we don't realize it until we go through different techniques and movements. And in that type of breath work, it's quite advanced and we're going through different elements within the body. So if you're ever interested in pranayama, let me know, because that's something that I think is the thing that our world needs the most right now, is to have more space within our body so that we can live easier. We're making it hard on ourselves by taking on so much and not having the energy or the space for it. I think I'm going to leave it there. I was going to maybe talk a little bit about the Sunday scaries and how you can use these techniques on Sunday as well. But I think you know best when you need to access these techniques. And the big thing I want to say is you don't have to be sitting on a meditation cushion or be a yoga type to do these things. But like I talked about today, you can be sitting at your office chair, closing your eyes, taking a couple deep breaths, feeling the ground on your feet. Nobody knows you're doing it. It's all about just bringing awareness to your body and saying, hey, my body's kind of running low on energy and feels like it's dragging out and I don't have enough to project forward throughout the day. Check back in, take some time to recharge, because the only way you're really going to be at your peak performance in life is the better you can self-assess, self-reflect, and use your tools in your toolbox to help you operate at that optimum level. So if you have any struggles with those tools, please reach out to me. Let's get on a connect call. I have that on my LinkedIn. I'm also going to drop it on Facebook as well. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, just reach out to me at melanie@richmondconsulting.net. We also have an awesome workshop coming up. It is on August 29th, And we already have a bunch of registrations coming in. It's going to be amazing. It's only 90 minutes. It's free. It's from noon MST until 1:30, and you're going to get a chance to really take a deep dive into how are you doing. Like we talked about that check-in. I want everyone to know how to do that self-assessment. I want everybody to know, hey, this is where I'm struggling. This is how my body and my mind is today. What can I do? What strategies can I do to take me to that optimal level? So this workshop is all about going to be your growth mindset and, removing anything that needs to be released. And we're going to come up with a roadmap to get you there based on your personal situation. And the best thing is you're going to get a bonus free strategy session with me to talk about your plans. So you're not going to want to miss this. I'm going to post that information within the video, and also look me up on LinkedIn. There's some information there, or on my website. All right, everybody, have an awesome week, and we'll see you back here next Wednesday. Keep that breath going. Just breathe. Bye for now.